Hey guys, welcome and thanks for watching. In this video, I want to cover how to learn sleight of hand. And now I don't mean how to learn a particular sleight of hand trick or move. This is going to be a general theory to help you learn sleight of hand better. All right, so I'm going to teach you how to actually learn sleight of hand because there is a method that can make your sleight of hand learning easier and more efficient. All right, so let's get into that now. All right, so the very first basic tip for learning sleight of hand, and you may have heard this already, but it's to practice. All right, this is the easiest tip right here. I'll get into something a lot better coming up here, but basically you gotta practice. Sleight of hand is like any other skill you're gonna learn in life, whether you're trying to work out and get stronger or faster or learn computer skills. You just gotta practice, or you got to go lift weights, or you got to go run. And the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. And the thing about sleight of hand is it can take a while to develop because you've got to make the muscle-mind connection. You've got to develop all the muscles that you're not used to working, right? And it's got to all start to flow together. And when you first start, you may not even be able to come close to doing a particular move, but you slowly progress and you can start to almost get it, and then you can finally get it, and then after a while it starts to speed up and look cleaner, right? So that's the first thing about sleight of hand. Sleight of hand is not easy. It's not a get rich quick thing. It's not an overnight thing. It's a slow process that takes time, but more importantly, it takes practice. So really you want to put in practice daily, or whenever you can. Carry a deck with you or coins or whatever you're working on, and whenever you can, practice, or practice at night. Set aside some time and practice, at least 10 minutes, as long as possible, as long as you can, without wearing yourself out. Get the rest you need as well. Just like when learning a musical instrument as well, you gotta take breaks. You gotta let all this stuff kind of digest. You can't just do it all the time and never stop. All right, so that's the first tip. All right, is you want to practice your sleight of hand a lot and every day and let it sink in. And the thing about sleight of hand too is sometimes as you learn it, one move will kind of flow into another move, right? So if you get good at one move, you may start to get better at another move you didn't even practice. And I remember reading a beginner book, I can't remember which one it is, a while ago, and it talked about how like the classic pass was the ultimate move for cards that you needed to practice because, according to the author, from that, like, everything stems. Like if you learn and practice that, then you'll get better at everything else. I don't know if that's true or not. It might be, but it makes sense. That's what I was saying. Like, a lot of your sleight of hand kind of flows into the next sleight of hand, right? Sleight of hand move, even if they're not exactly the same move. You still build mind muscle connection, right? Stuff like that. Okay, so the second tip when learning sleight of hand is to really think about what you're doing too. You want to really visualize, even when you're not doing the sleight of hand move, you want to actually think about it. And this is actually a technique that is used, I like musicians use it, and they've actually done some crazy studies where people were able to almost like learn skills just by thinking it in your mind, because so much of it is in your mind. Like, so much of a physical skill is actually not just the physical part, but it's tied into your mind, your brain, because your brain has all these neurons that are connecting to your body and are firing and triggering. And a lot of times when you're developing sleight of hand or other skills, like you're really developing those neurons. That's like a very important, crucial part to learning sleight of hand. Okay. Next step is to, the next tip is to, take it easy and start with the easier sleight of hand moves, right? And just develop from there. Okay, so don't try to necessarily go into the most advanced thing you can think of or the hardest cardistry, flourish, cut that you can think of. Start with all the basics first. Even if it doesn't seem like the move is as cool, just work on the basics, and it's better to kind of get the basics and nail those down, because like I was telling you before, that'll help you to progress with other moves and when you want to develop more later on. Okay, and now on to my fourth tip, and this is kind of like my big tip. And what you want to do, and I heard, I believe Aaron Fisher talk about this at one point. He quoted another older magician who mentioned that magic is kind of this, actually the sum of parts or the sum of moves. So like a magic trick is actually a series of tons of moves actually put together. And that's the same thing with sleights, like in sleight of hand. We think of something like the classic pass, right? And you think of it being, you just think of it as all one move, and you've got to do all this one move. But here, I'm going to tilt the camera and try to demonstrate a little bit. You take a move like the classic pass right there. And guys, if you like that, give a thumbs up and subscribe, and I can make videos and tutorials on this right here and other moves. But what I was saying is that when you start out, you come and you think you've got to do like the entire move and you've got to get it perfectly. But what it really is you're doing so many moves all streamed together when you do a move like the classic pass, right? So first I am getting a break, pinky break, and then I'm coming over and then I'm shoving my pinky in, like really far into the deck. And then I'm coming over and I'm pivoting the bottom, I'm gripping, and then I'm pivoting the bottom packet up and I'm pulling the top packet down, right? And then I'm squaring up. And all of this, so this is really like 4 or 5 moves that you're doing combined together to make what we call the classic pass. And the secret is, it's the same thing with something like a double lift, right? You think of like, you take like the double lift. Okay, and when you learn, you think like, oh, I got to do it like this, got to do it like that, I got to get it all smooth. But, you think of it like one move. You think of it as like the double lift is the move, but really what you're doing is, first you're catching a break, whether it's a thumb break or you do a pinky count. Then you're coming in, you're coming up under the card if you're doing it this way. Then you're doing a turnover, a grip. It's hard for me to do it slow, I lost a second. You're getting a second break, you're coming in, you're doing a turnover, right? It's a whole series of moves. And it's when you want to work on each of these moves individually and slowly, and you actually want to perfect all of the moves individually. It's like playing a piece of music, right? You could take Stairway to Heaven, for example, and you listen to it and you understand Stairway to Heaven and you're trying to play that, but really if you break it down, Stairway to Heaven is just a series of notes. It might be C, B, A, G, C, B, you know, each of these individual notes, but then when they're seamlessly brought together, that makes the whole of what the song is. But the important thing is that you have to be able to play each of those individual, let's come back up. You want to be able to play each of those individual notes perfectly, well, doesn't be perfectly, but well enough before you can start to flow them together. And then the second part is being able to flow them together, being able to go from the B to the C. That's the next move, right? And then once you can do that seamlessly, then you want to go from that C to that G, right? And then you want to practice going from B to C to G and make that seamless. Then you want to add in another note, right? So you want to take it, what I'm saying is that you want to take your sleight of hand in steps, okay? And you want to master, you want to look at whatever move you're trying to learn and you want to break it down into steps. And you want to practice each individual step until you can do that very well. And then you want to practice transitioning to the next step. And you want to make sure that transition is smooth and that you can do both of those together, right? Before, you know, so you want to break it down. And another really big, this is probably like my tip number 5, we'll call it, is you want to practice as slow as possible. Or I think Aaron Fisher also talked about this at one point. So what happens is when you're learning sleight of hand, you think like, I got to do this thing fast, like I got to do this pass fast, so I need to practice it fast. That's the mentality. But the truth is, you want to practice it as slow as possible. It almost wants to be like, it wants to go against what your mind wants to do. Like you almost want it to be like painful, like you're going like painfully slow. So you might be, you know, practicing your pass and you want to do it like as slow as possible, right? Because there's another expression that you know, like Olympians talk about and world-class pianists and everything, is that practice makes perfect. Well, I was saying before, you need a practice, but actually also perfect practice makes perfect. So you don't want to be practicing incorrectly, and sometimes that's what will happen. Apologize, there's a siren going by. I'm having to film outside. That's what will happen if you try to do something too fast. A lot of times you may end up practicing and learning a sloppy version of it that's not as good, or that won't enable you to be able to progress. So you want to slow it down and you want to learn and practice that move as slow as possible, right? And that allows all of the muscle connections and everything to really slow burn into your mind so you can develop that move. This is a hot tip, guys. So that so that basically naturally your body will speed up, okay? Once it learns it, speed will come naturally. Like you don't have to try to force yourself to be faster. You learn it at the slower speed and then speed will come naturally, if that makes sense, right? Your body will learn all the micro moves at a slow pace and it'll burn into your mind, right? And then you will become better and better and better at that move. And it will become where you're going to learn it at in a more perfect way, right? You're not going to learn it in a sloppy or incorrect way, okay? So anyways, guys, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please give a like, a thumbs up, and please comment down below. Let me know what you think and what else you want to learn. Guys, if it's your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be bringing plenty of magic videos and things to help you learn magic and also cool things to watch regarding magic along with reviews. Guys, so if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this will help you, and I'll be coming with plenty more videos, guys, and we are going to work on that sleight of hand. Hopefully this is going to help you learn your sleight of hand better. Until next time.